Hi, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and today I am on the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog for the design challenge for the entire design team for August 2018, and I have made this cute Santa and tree card because our theme was Christmas fun with cute characters. So I have used this die, which is the Elegant Christmas Tree, to cut out that green tree that you see there using both of those dies. There's an outline and then an inside. And then I've used the large star to cut out a gold large star. And then there's a little star that I didn't originally think I would use, but later I do cut one out of red cardstock. Then this is the brand new Santa's Sleigh Die Set, and I'm using the presents from that. So I've got the medium present in red, large present, medium bow, and small bow out of red cardstock. Then I cut the small present out of gold, and then the large bow and the medium present out of 85-pound white soft finish cardstock. And then the rest of the dies are Santa. So as you can see, there are a lot of pieces to Santa, but he's so cute. Look at how cute he is. So I used red, black, and white cardstock for this. So for the hat, I did not use the little bell that you see up there on the left, but that's in there too. So the hat, the jacket, and the legs I cut out of red cardstock. Then there's this little die that has the mittens and the buttons for his jacket. And then there's this other strange little looking piece that is actually like a thumb. So you use that, like here in the picture. If he's holding the bell, you put that like over the bell handle to make it look like he's actually holding it. So pretty cute. But I actually won't wind up using that since I am not using the bell for this project. And then the remaining pieces I cut out of 85-pound white soft finish cardstock. So the top is the hat trim, and then the trim for the sleeves and the boots. And then that's the lower trim on the jacket. That's his head. That is his mustache and his nose. And then there's the beard. Now we're going to have to do a little bit of coloring on him. So I've got out my Spectrum Noir clear sparkle marker, and I'm going to sparkle up all of the trim pieces for his outfit using the sparkle marker, because it's Christmas and you got to have glitter on a Christmas card, plus Santa has to have some glitter. So I figured the trim was the most Santa-esque area to have some glitter on him. And then I need to color his head and his nose like a skin tone color, but first I'm going to do the boots. So the boots are like the lower half of this leg piece. So you could color this with a black marker. I am using my black glaze pen because I wanted them to be kind of shiny. And you can tell from the die cut, like where the boots start, like where the trim pieces go. And so just color right underneath that with the black, and then the trim pieces will cover up the start of where you color it. And with the glaze pen, I have to do about 3 coats on this because it doesn't cover completely the first time, and you do have to let the glaze pen dry before you do a second coat over it. Otherwise, it'll just pull the glaze right off if you color over it when it's wet. Now here's the head and the nose, and I'm going to color those all solidly with my FS3 Spectrum Noir marker, which is kind of a Caucasian skin tone, but you could obviously use whatever color marker you like to create whatever skin tone you need for your Santa. And I like that about this, and that's why I thought it was kind of fun and easy to cut them all out of like white cardstock and then just cut them, especially with the nose and the mustache, since the mustache needs to be white and you need to color his nose. Okay, and so now my glaze is dried, so I'm going to do a second coat, and I'm pretty sure I wind up doing a third coat on that as well. And then I'm going to use the glaze pen to color in his eyes. The eyes are embossed on the die cut, so you can see exactly where to color him, so it's super easy. Glaze pen gets a little messy, but it worked in the end. And so now I'm going to just adhere all these together. Now I did, when I die cut out all of the components that you saw in the beginning, I had put double-sided adhesive sheet on the back of all the paper before I die cut out the pieces. Now I'll show you in a second how I did that, but it makes it really easy to put everything together because it turns them all into stickers. So basically there's adhesive on the back of all the pieces, so I just stick them on and they are good to go. Now I'm trying to keep my head out of the shot, so I can't get too close to the dies to line them up. So I'm not doing the greatest job, which is why I'm having to trim them off a little bit here and there. So you won't have that problem. You can get in closer and get them lined up properly, unlike me. And I will do that in a second. Actually, you'll see my head here. But as you can see, pretty easy to put together. It's fairly straightforward, not too difficult. The sleeves on the trim on the sleeves, you do have to kind of figure out which goes where, and same with the boots, but you know, not too tough. And so I will adhere those down. And then I'm going to do his beard over his face. And there's my head. And then I'm going to add a little coloring here because I want him to have pink cheeks and a little red mouth. The mouth's not going to show very much. So I'm using my Spectrum Noirs for that. And it was my PP3 and my DR3 markers. And so I just get those little elements in there and then stick his mustache down. And then his nose just goes right on top. And then the hat fits kind of low over his head, and it does fit kind of on top of the beard towards the ends. So really cute. And then you can just peel up the bottom part of the beard and press it down onto the body. I do have the adhesive stuck back on the hat, or I will in a second, to just keep it from sticking everything, and that shows a little bit, so don't get distracted by that. And I did the same thing for the legs, just stuck his body down onto the legs. And now I'm just doing the same thing. I'm peeling up the adhesive off the sides of the sleeves and just pressing onto the mittens to get them in place. And then the little buttons, which I'm so glad I had adhesive sheet on the back of these, I just stick down on the front. And now I'm taking the presents and I'm adding white polka dots to the small red bow with my white glaze pen, which is exactly like my black glaze pen, except it's white. And then I will take a black micron pen and I will outline the centers of the bows and then the shadow under the tops of the box lids. And later I will put a little bit more detailing on the bows to give them just a little bit of like shadow creasing. But it's super easy to stick these together. You just peel up the adhesive off the straight part of the bow and stick it onto the present so that the bow sticks on top, and you're good to go. And I will actually turn these into a pile of presents by sticking the gold present behind the red present towards the top and then the white one to the right. And you'll see that in a little bit. Now here's my adhesive sheet. So I have stuck this piece of 85-pound white soft finish cardstock down on top of the adhesive. Now, if you want to turn something into a sticker, then you die cut the items out from the top of the paper. So the adhesive's on the back. In this instance, I'm actually going to use the adhesive on the front because I'm going to add glitter to this piece of cardstock. So I want this to be the background for my tree. So I'm going to peel off the majority of the backing to expose the adhesive and just keep a little bit on the right-hand side so I can hold it. And then I'm going to just start pouring these glitters on kind of randomly. So this is Cool Diamond, and I'm trying to go from the lightest color to the darkest color because I don't want to cross-contaminate my glitters. And if you put dark glitter accidentally into a light color glitter jar, you're going to really see it, whereas the opposite isn't quite the case. But really, with a coffee filter, you can get that coffee filter pretty clean before you move on to the next color. So you can see I just sort of poured the Cool Diamond on there a little bit randomly. Now I'm going to do this again with the brush Pewter. And you'll see that like they kind of turn a little bit stripy. I think you might be able to avoid that if you tip the paper over faster than what I am doing. But I kind of like the striped effect, and in a way you could almost do it purposely. Like if you wanted it to look like you had garland on the tree, you could very specifically like make stripes of the different colors, which would be kind of a cool background too, just all on its own. So I might try that again in a future project, who knows. But this is Solar Gold, so as you see, I'm just pouring it on randomly and then tapping it off. So this is going to be a very abstract looking background, but my idea was I wanted to get the various Christmassy colors to show through on those little detailed openings in that top layer of the tree. So like so. So I positioned the detailed layer as I wanted it on top of the glittered sheet, and then I exposed the adhesive and pressed it down. And now I have kind of fit the outline die all the way around it and taped it down with some paper tape, and I will run that through my die cutter to get the tree all nice and die cut out with the glitter behind it, like you see there. So it's kind of a funky look. And then I'm going to stick the large star on the top by exposing the adhesive on the bottom half. And later I will actually put a little red star in the inside of that gold star. Now for my background sheet, I have a piece of pewter cardstock that is cut to a weird size. It's 5 1/8 by 5 7/8, I think. I will double check, and I'll put that up in the right hand corner there. And I wanted a little pattern on the back of it. So what I decided to do is take all the greetings in that classic Christmas sentiment stamps that you see there on the right, and I have just kind of stuck them around randomly on the background, and I'm stamping them down onto the paper with Versamark ink. So it's a clear embossing ink. It also will create watermarks on some cardstocks. On soft finish cardstock, it will not. So just be aware of that. So I wind up having to cover the stamps with clear embossing powder, and then I'm heat setting that now with my heat tool. And I will go back and add more stamps and more embossing powder to kind of fill out that most of that piece. Now I left the middle empty because I knew the tree was going to be on it. And then my main greeting is "'Tis the Season" that I stamped in black archival ink onto some 85-pound soft finish cardstock that's about 3/4 of an inch wide by about 4.5 inches. And then I turned it into a banner shape and cut fishtails ends onto it. And then I have this piece of wood cardstock from the Through the Lens wood paper pack that is cut to about 1/2 inch by 5 1/8. And there you see my background after it's done. I have a black piece of cardstock, and then my card base is 5 3/8 by 5 7/8. So it's a 11 3/4 by 5 3/8 wide, and then folded in half. So you do need a piece of 12 by 12 paper for that. And now I'm just covering the front with my piece of black cardstock, and I didn't quite line it up, so I'll trim that off. And then I'm going to just layer my gray pattern background right on top of that. So that's pewter soft finish cardstock. I don't know if I said that or not. And then I'm going to adhere down my wood floor, and I cut it a little long, so I'm just going to mark it with my Micron pen and then trim it down to get it exactly the size of the gray. So I'm like simulating like a floor effect kind of. And now I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of my tree. So this is 6mm double-sided adhesive tape. I did use 10mm double-sided adhesive tape on the bigger pieces when I layered those together. And I'm just going to put this slightly to the right and on top of the floor on the card front. And then there's my little package of presents. So you can see how I kind of adhered them all together to create a big pile. Oh, and yeah, I did add some gold and red glitter dots to the tree, and I will actually add more before it's over. So there's my little group of presents, and then I'm going to add Santa on the left-hand side. And so again, you can see having the adhesive sheet on the back of all these pieces makes this super easy to put together. Like, I think it'd be kind of easy to assembly line all of this. Now to get my banner tails to stick down, I have 3mm adhesive on both the front flap and the back flap, and that's going to hold those like down and correctly aligned, I guess, which is good. And then I have a little bit of 6mm adhesive on the back of those that will hit the card, and then foam tape in the middle to pop up the center of the banner. And that is going to go right at the top of the tree. It's going to take me a second to align it just the way I want it. And that's basically the completed project. And although it looks kind of complicated, it was actually really easy to put together. And like I said, I think you could assembly line this card without too much problem. Now, if you're making 100 of them, that might be more than you want to do, maybe. But I just think he's so cute. I love the Santa. And this release from Josette Vandenberg, which is real recent, has so many cute characters. You may have seen my polar bear card, which I will link to at the end here. And then she's also got a penguin and a moose and just a bunch of really cute guys. And there's a good look at Santa there. So hopefully I've inspired you to check out the new release over at Elizabeth Craft Designs, and please take a look at all the other fun designer projects on the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog today. I have that linked in the video description, as well as all of the supplies. Here are 2 more Christmas projects I've done in the past, including the recent polar bear card, which is another one of the cute characters in this collection. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet as well. Thanks so much. Have a great day.